Hello, it's time for a new project today. I've finished working on the previous project, which was the thing to randomize list of colleagues so I can set up one-to-one sessions with them in some random order. I actually did a little bit of hacking on it over the weekend, which was a strange and relaxing experience because I didn't have to explain everything as I was doing it and there was no streaming involved. But it kind of felt like cheating a little bit. But back to the regular Haskell writing today. And yeah, it's time for a new project. I'm a little bit nervous about this because I'm going to try and use Servant to build something. And I feel like I'm going to get out of my depth very quickly and probably find it quite difficult. But that's kind of the fun of learning, I suppose. It's good to sort of set a challenge and push myself a bit. Cool. So just before I begin, I'm going to plug Haskell Love again, the online conference. It's running tomorrow, 11 hours apparently. Oh god, it starts quite early. 12 hours. It starts at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, my time. Yeah, so it's free. You can sign up, get a ticket, and watch along. Okay, cool. So the project for today. So in work, we have a series of development environments. And they all run a full copy of our production stack, well, production-like stack, but in a dev environment. And the one I use most is one that's sort of scaled up for load testing, and people keep booking time on it. So it's shared between certainly people in my own team, but also other teams as well. So typically the way we coordinate this is someone will go into Slack channel and say, is it okay if I use the load test environment for a bit? And nobody reads the message for a while, so we just assume it's fine, and then you just go and start working. And occasionally we clash, but not that often. Or sometimes people just start using it. So I thought it'd be kind of handy to have an application where you can go and say, I want to book load test for a couple of hours, or one of the other dev environments as well. People use other dev environments to test out things they're working on. So I want to build a web service, and I want to build an application where you can go and do this. I was thinking it'd be quite nice if integrated with Slack, ideally with a command line tool as well, and I guess a web interface. So that's quite a lot to build. I don't know how much I'll actually manage to do. I've got different, we call them stacks, different environments. But on those stacks as well, there are different services running. So you might only need to book it for a single service. You might say, I want to test out this specific service on this stack, rather than I need to take over the whole thing. Load tests tend to be different. You tend to want the whole environment because you're going to put a lot of load through it. So as well as being able to book, a single environment, you also maybe just want to book a service within that. And I guess I'd like it so that when you book it, you say how long you want to book it for. So, you might only need it for half an hour, might be a quick test, you might want it for the whole day, you might want it for a week, whatever. I'd like some way of querying that and saying, who's using load test right now, and it would tell you what's coming up as well. Anything else I'd like it to do? I'd like it to track the person that's doing it, obviously. So we're going to have to have some way of kind of identifying people. I don't need like a super secure authenticating people to say, making them log in and get tokens. So we might do that, I don't know. But it doesn't need to be particularly secure. It just needs to know who the person is. We can operate on quite a high level of trust. So that's my plan. I want to use Servant for doing this. So my plan is to write a web application, so a JSON-based web API really, using Servant that will provide endpoints for listing environments, for booking an environment, for releasing an environment, for querying who's using it. And then maybe build a client for that, maybe from a command line initially, or just use curl, I guess. And then maybe look at building a Slack integration, perhaps, or building some kind of web-based interface. I think I can do that in Servant, I'm not sure. I'm particularly interested in Servant for its sort of JSON-based API stuff, but maybe we can get to serve HTML as well. Anything else? Yeah, I need to store data, so I'm probably going to look at using Postgres for storing the data of which stacks are available and who's currently using them. That's quite a lot of stuff I haven't done before in Haskell. I think it's going to get a bit tricky. I think a lot of today as well is going to be sort of copying and pasting code out of examples just to get something working. Okay, so that's the plan. Right, so let's get something going. So I'm going to start up a new project. Start new resolver. It is, what was the resolver? Is it 18.6? Yeah, actually I might just grab this. So start new, I'll need a name for it. I don't know, it's for booking environments, let's call it Bookie. I'm going to use my simple template. It's just basically the standard stack simple template, but I've added a couple of files for VS Code. I don't know how many actually, but I'm still going to use it. I'm using this resolver because of issues with the version of Haskell in the resolver, the version of Haskell that's available through Nix or on my machine without Nix. And the version of Haskell that's supported by the Haskell language server. So I got in a bit of a pickle the other day because I couldn't find a combination that worked particularly well. Mostly because Nix, the version of Nix I had was pointing to the unstable channel. So it was getting whatever version of Haskell. But I switched it back to stable version of Nix, this LTS resolver from Stackage, and the latest version of Haskell language server, and it seems to settle on installing and using 8.10.4, which is supported by everything. So that's why it's 18.6. That involved a lot of playing around with it over the weekend to find something that worked, but it's not a very exciting thing to watch. Okay, so I've created this. I should be able to load it now. Let's see if that works. At least opens, that's a good start. Okay, and if I go into main.hs, hopefully it should start the language server. Looking good. Yeah, okay, cool. That pop-up little light bulb means it's working, basically. Okay, cool. So, as well as using Servant, the other thing I want to do with this is replace the built-in prelude with something a bit different. I think I'm going to try relude, because it looks like it's the most straightforward drop-in replacement. I don't know, though. I don't really have a strong reason for using it, actually. I want to experiment what it's like. And also, it does bring some advantages. So I think it has more strict I/O, less lazy I/O, which caught me out previously. And it has replaced a number of partial functions with total functions, and replaced some stuff that's just general and safe. So I'm less likely to do things like call head on an empty list, that kind of thing. And I can't remember how I set it up before, so I'm going to go and look it up. The instructions are quite good, but maybe not this. There were instructions somewhere. Getting started mixing, this is the way I want to go. Okay, so I want to grab this line. That's not going to install it for me though, so I probably, or will it install it? I don't think it installs it. I probably need to add something else to the Cabal file to actually install it. But you can see here, there's a full example, so let's just grab that. This line with the open restriction doesn't actually work, I discovered, but we can fix it up as we go. Okay, so grab the Cabal file. Basically at this point, just paste it in. I'm just going to drop that whole thing for convenience. I don't care what version it uses, it can use whatever's in Stackage, it's fine. Then it's going to not import Prelude by default, then it's going to override prelude with relude, and then I think include it everywhere. So it'll be like prelude was available, but actually it's not calling prelude, it's calling relude instead. Is that going to work? So stack setup, new project, and then stack build. This setup was really just to make sure that it didn't complain about GHC because it couldn't find an available version. Okay, so field mixins is only available. This field will be ignored. Okay, I'm not going to use the mixin then. Obviously didn't read that before. What version of Cabal have I got? I'm going to say stack exec Cabal. Is that a thing? No. Okay, I don't know how to run Cabal. Is it just available? No. Okay, I don't know how to run Cabal to find out what version it is, but I'm a bit concerned by this suggestion that it's not going to use mixins. Okay, so I'll shortcut to that. Yep. Oh, greater than or equal to 1.10. I guess it's probably 1.10 then, or something like that. There was another non-mixin way of doing this. So it's not that. I might just stick this into Prelude and then straight into my Cabal file, and then I will just import it manually. Something else? No, so let's try doing oops, try doing that, implicit prelude, and then we'll drop this. Oh, traveling build again. Should be, it's not okay, even, that's interesting. I'll stop scrolling badly. Oh yes, cool. It has worked. You can tell it's worked because there's no access to I/O because I haven't imported Relude. And nothing's being imported by default. So when I go to here, you can just say imports Relude. Cannot load module Relude. That's right. Oh, I've changed the constant Cabal, so I need to restart LSP to pick up those changes. Cool. Okay, and I'm just going to check this runs. Really, tasks. I do have tasks. Cool. They were included then in the template that I used. Okay, looks like it worked. Can I run it? Yeah, cool. Okay, so we replaced the standard Prelude with Relude. Let's just get in at this. I'll add everything. There's no reason not to. Oh, key binding is not working. Is it like a stage all? No. Wow. Okay. Probably don't want a stage stack work. Actually, that was a mistake. Unstage. I accidentally unstaged that. Oh dear. Right, there we go. So this is a new version, like a new project with Relude. replacing prelude. And my key bindings are all messed up for some reason. That's really annoying. I want to magic commit. No. Wow. Oh dear. What was the key binding to finish this? Not Control C, Control C, but okay, something's broken my key bindings. Hang on a second. I spent half my life just playing with keyboard shortcuts, I think. This one, save and close editor, why is that not working? Oh, I have a suspicion. Hang on. Stop recording, give it that for a second. Yeah, okay, this is VS Code's new auto detect, where it generally just gets it wrong. Oh, it only gets it wrong for things like commit messages, and it's got, I guess it gets it wrong here sometimes as well. Okay, while my key bindings broke, I might just switch it off at some point. Okay, anyway, we now have a brand new project, and it's got Prelude set up. Let me just try again. New file, fancy new file thing. All my key bindings are broken. What's going on here? New file in here. Whoops. That's not what I want to do. Wow. What's happened here? Oh, I've created a file that's got the same directory and I've broken everything. What have we got here? We've just absolutely trashed stuff. Including the Git directory. Oh, that's really annoying. Okay, so there's a bug in this advanced find file where if you try and create a file with the same as a directory, it trashes your directory contents. Let's do all that again. Let's go quickie. Somewhere I should stack new. Right. VS Code again. Shouldn't be allowed to use computers. Okay, what do we do? We went to Cabal. We added the known implicit prelude, and we added prelude. So I'm going to paste in there. Copy that. Maybe copying it out. So that, and then here we'll say we'll not be able to type. Put the space in there. Okay, this is going to work. That's what we did before. And then we stack build again. Stack run, say hello, cool. So now we can go here, get in it again, and then commit everything except stack work. It says git commit message, which is good. So we replace, no, it's not replace, it's new project using Prelude. It's a nice switch to YAML, which is ridiculous. Okay, we've committed it. Maybe I should just quickly create a repo and push it in case I fuck it up again. Repository. Bookie. Environment. Booking system. Application. Whatever. Given that line. Adds. Can I do this? That's kind of cool. Upstream origin master. Okay, and go back here and reload. There we go. Okay, so I managed to commit it. That's cool. Okay, so now I'm going to try and do. I was going to do the git ignore. That's what I tried to do before. That's right. I was curious as to why that key binding is broken. New file relative to current view. So / we go out of source. I'll do git ignore, not trashing this time. And I want to ignore stack work. Okay. Ignore stack work. Upstream. Cool. Okay, now back to Cabal file. I'm just going to add servant into here. I watched some videos recently of someone doing some, not exactly live coding, but just walking through how they wrote a Haskell project. And they didn't do any of this fucking it up as they went along. They looked like a professional and did it very well. Perhaps I should practice just the basics of doing coding. So we've added servant. We should be able to do stack build. And if this works, then we can just copy and paste some code and then we'll have an application. Cool, that worked. Right then, so let's go to main. And we'll stay in main, but we'll go back to the internet, which I'm going to go into the documentation for servant, and then a web API has type. There's a whole load of code. Serving API, was that? Yeah, it's even longer. I basically just want to like copy and paste, for example. Not really copy and pasteable very easily though. But let's see if we can just grab the right bits and then let the language server import things that we need. Okay, I'm going to restart the language server because I've added servant to the Cabal file since I started it. Okay, so now we can say that add data kinds. Is that because of, yeah, because it's doing some tight level programming? I think that's what the comma is about. User we haven't defined yet, so let's go and copy and paste user. Sorry, this combinator, oh, type operators. Okay, so yeah, more tight level programming. Where does the day come from? Probably time calendar. Okay, I'm just going to ditch that. And to JSON should come from ASIN. Oh no, I'm going to add that by hand, I think. Yeah. Okay, so back to my Cabal file. I'll add ASIN, which is the JSON coding library. Start build again. not sure about this dance where every time I add something to Cabal and then I stack and like you stack build to install it for me, I need to restart the language server. I wonder if I'm missing something that would save me having to do that. I don't know. Okay, deriving generics, add derived generic. Okay, cool. We have our endpoint. So I think this is what this is saying is match, well, it's an endpoint basically slash users. To get request, it's going to return JSON and it's going to return a list of users. That's what it's saying, I think. And then we define our user type. So we've got a name, age, and email, and then an instance of 2 JSON. Does it just work that out? That's just amazing, I think. I'm very impressed with that. We just say to JSON and it builds the encoder for you. Okay, so next thing, we're going to define some users. I'm going to get rid of these dates. Okay, so we have some people who are very old, apparently. And then what we're going to do is set server. Okay, the name here, I think it's a little misleading, I'm not sure. Oh. No type server, so where's that coming from? That's going to be probably Y. I don't know actually. Let's find out. Is Y available? So if I just try import network.y, okay, it's not there by default. So let's go back to Cabal. It's not Y, is it? It's Way. I can't remember. These names are very confusing. This is quite big. Take a while to compile. But it exited a failure. Good. Oh. Okay, what are we missing here? Oh no, okay, it's fine. It installed properly, it just didn't build my code because my code isn't finished yet. Okay, restart LSP. See if we can help us out with server. No, that was not the right package. I'll need that anyway at some point, but that was not the right thing. Am I just missing some code? So the family type name server. Nope. Okay, so we've imported servant, which I thought included server, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's warp. I give that a go. I'm guessing you just install warp. So warp is a web server. I guess this will take a little while to build. Probably should have done all the compiling before I started, or spent a lot of money on a very fast computer. It's not that slow though, it should be okay. I haven't imported Way, but maybe I don't need to. This is what they had. servant type source T source. I don't think that's it either. Don't think it's going to be any of those other ones. I don't even know what Lisa does. I don't really want to just add all of these because I think I'm not going to use them all. Okay. While I'm waiting, I'm going to put these bits in. So here we have our error where we don't have a server, but we're going to say this is our API, proxy user API 1, which we defined up here. And application, where does application come from, I wonder? Probably comes from either way or warp. And then we'll run as well. I might just print something out so we can see what it's doing. Okay, this is still compiling. It's getting closer. This is a fun stream where you get to watch me compile packages. All I can do is let it finish compiling this, and it's just working as hard as it can. I could probably read what's going on, but you know, where's the fun in that? To be missing things, we're not doing the day thing. Server. Didn't even notice actually this is a module server, but I don't think that's relevant. Don't think it is. I can grab it though, couldn't I? So they have an example to doc tutorial. That's this file that we're currently reading. So I don't think it's important that it's called server. And the thing that I'm missing is called server. I think it's just because I haven't imported way or y or warp or something. Okay, exit failure, but that's my failure, so that's okay. Restart LSP. Doesn't know anything about server, doesn't know anything about application. Well, that's a start, I guess. Okay, we could try, I'm just going to try calling this server. I don't think it's important. No. Okay, the other things that we're missing then. So it type family, does that come from generics? I don't think it comes from generics, but maybe it does. I don't know anything about generics. Go. No. Is it coming from an extension? Who knows? Let's try a couple of these. So what were we missing? Oops. Generalized new type deriving. I don't think it's that, because it's not about deriving. Try grabbing all of them. So data kinds, and that we got above. Type operators we got above. That's not going to magically fix it, is it? No. Okay, the other question is, where is server 1 being used? It's not yet. Oh no, it was being used on there. Okay, let's grab some other stuff that's missing. So, no, that's no good. That. So we're missing something that lets us define server, and we're missing something that lets us define serve. And it can't find those. Where would serve come from? Okay, it's not going to be accept or reader. Don't think it's going to be from here. I don't think it's to do with byte strings. It's not list, maybe string versions or calendar. It didn't seem to be generics. I don't know what list it is. Maybe we'll grab that, just see if that magically fixes it. But typically it would normally suggest something. So the language server would normally work out where it could come from. Actually, let's look up and see what Lucid is, see if it's a candidate. What is it? I don't think this is it. Okay, probably not Lucid. Probably not HTTP media. It's specifically defining these operators. We have way and warp. We have servant. System directory won't be used because we're not listing directory. Text blaze and renderer aren't being used. Don't know what this means. But we're not saying source anymore, are we? No. This is not that. Okay. It's annoying. Oh, I'm going to go back. Okay, is that the only thing we haven't got? No, it's the service to the thing that we haven't got. That it cannot find. Server comes from servant. Probably all of servant. Oh no, I see what's going on here. That was, oops. That was different. So they imported servant, and I imported servant API. Right. So that's probably going to contain the definition of server and serve. Now, why does it say it can't find it when I have I've listed it in my cabal file? So let's have a look and see if they've listed it. Build depends servant, servant server, servant client, servant docs. Are they all different? Didn't realize you could do separate build depend blocks. That's quite nice. Okay, I'll try putting these in as well, see if they help. Okay, try stack build. I'll go in and get those things as well. It's quite a lot to install. I thought it was quite quick before actually I added servant. I was impressed with how quickly it compiled, but maybe that's because it didn't install anything. So looking at the time now, maybe the aim for today is just to get one thing to compile and maybe serve a single endpoint. And then next week we can come back and make it more interesting. But I think that even getting to the point where it serves a single static, well not static, but like a single page generated from some test data is going to be a challenge. But I think mostly because I didn't install it properly. I could read the docs a bit more, I suppose. Let's go back to the documentation. I suppose start okay. So it's it's not telling how to add its existing project. An example in here? No. Maybe they just think you should know what you're doing before you add it. This is this documentation, so it's the same place. Okay, I guess copying the entries from Cabal out of the tutorial is probably the way to go. Servant, servant, client, server docs. How's it doing? It's getting there. One of the things I'm really interested in with Servant is its ability to generate documentation from type declaration. So they can get some kind of OpenAPI or Swagger style documentation for free, I think, based on the way that I define my endpoints. So it's going to be in sync with the actual code. One of the problems we have sometimes with Swagger files is that they're manually maintained at the moment when I'm working, and sometimes people get it slightly wrong or forget to add something. I call that idea of being auto-generated, and the docs being auto-generated as well. I think it auto-generates a Haskell client as well, which can be quite handy if we're going to write some command line interface to this. I guess as well, if I want to run it as a web app, I'm going to have to think about hosting it somewhere at some point. Don't know where. It'll be tiny, but I haven't done any kind of Haskell deployment stuff yet. Obviously, it's a very simple application, so I should probably, have a whole Kubernetes cluster dedicated to it. Seems to be the current trend. If I can get Nixos on AWS. It's probably not an AMI for Nixos. Okay, it has installed it, so now we can go and see if... Let's restart this. First of all, let's see if we get access to servant. We do, cool. Okay, so now... Cool, we now have access to server, and we have access to serve, things I wanted. Okay. So in theory, I can run this, and it'll start listing on port 8081. Says it's running. Okay. Can I get a new shell? I got curl. Yep. 8081. Maybe didn't want -v, but still. Okay, it got 44 not found. I think that's cool. So then we can go /users. Might drop the -v out. We don't need all the detail. I was checking I could connect. Wow, amazing. Okay, cool. So I have a web application. Let's step through it a little bit, see if I can understand what's going on. So this, I think, is building the API endpoint. It's giving URL, HTTP method, return type, and the data it's going to return. This is defining a user, that's fine. I'm not quite sure we're deriving generic, but it's probably a very good reason for it. This is magically generating the encoder for it. Just setting up some test data. This I don't understand. I guess what we're saying is, okay, we're defining a server that only has this single endpoint in it. I think that's what it's saying. And then this is the definition of that endpoint. So when you hit the endpoint, I'm guessing this gets called. Because down here you're saying serve user API. Which is this thing that it says boilerplate. Using this server, I think. Okay, so we define applications being that, and then we call run, which comes from warp, and then we hand it the application, way application. Okay, I think we kind of follow that. I think I'm happy enough that I can move on now and do the next bit of the tutorial. Documentation, where was it? Showing an API, right. So they add 2 more endpoints here. They're just building on top of, not building on top of, so they're just creating new types. So I'm not going to bother doing that. I'm just going to grab this. So what they're saying is, I have an input for users, which is get, returns a list of users as JSON, and then a new endpoint for Albert, which returns a single user, and same for Isaac. Okay, So let me stick those into my root, into my application. Obviously needs to be formatted like that. And then they split these out, don't they? So they said Albert is a user. You should get that sorted out. And he's going to grab a string from here. Then same thing for Isaac. Also a user. And then we grab this. Oop. And then we can say Albert and Isaac. Just do that. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we have our code. Right, so now in here, can't just try and use as one. We need to say this. So, or return, I guess Albert was the next root we had. I hope they make this better soon. Or return Isaac, because that was the third root we had. Having to match the order is not cool, but I'm hoping that goes away soon. Is that enough? Yeah, that should be enough. Okay, cool. So if I go back to here, I can just stop that. Stop it. And then run it again. Okay, the order's changed, I think. Ooh. Put Albert first, so it should swap them around. That's cool, and then we can go. Not sure about these roots, but anyway. Okay. So that's the basic combinator for putting stuff together. Yeah, I'm not gonna copy the example from here. Well, I'm gonna look at what they're doing in example, but I'm not gonna just use this. I'm gonna see if I can get users to work a bit better. So I can say capture something, and then when they're handling it, so where are they handling position? Here, position. So here for them goes from int to int handler position. So they're capturing two variables and then returning position. Okay, so let me write this in my own little way. I want two roots. I want users, or I want user. But you know, can we stack on top of each other? So will it do basically first match? So there's no capture. It'll go here, and if there is a capture, it'll grab the second one. That's what I'm hoping will happen. So how do you specify it? It's a quoted name. Oops. So name is a string, and then what is the magic you type? Oh, you just keep using this. Okay. So it's a get. It returns JSON and I'll type user. Okay, so we got 2 roots. Oh, is this going to clash though? No, it won't, because we're doing some order. Okay, so users 1, or let's call it a single user. Okay, so single user goes from string to a handler of the user. Single user. I think I can just say this. Oh no, okay. Oh, it's tricky. How do you handle a maybe type here? This isn't what I wanted to work with, but let's do case user of just x is x. Otherwise, just next compile, I'm going to give it Albert. Maybe I meant that. Maybe I meant nothing. Okay, so what's this saying? Okay, from maybe. Let's do that. Import qualified that. I don't want to import that. Okay, couldn't much expect to type string handler user with actual type user. So maybe just return that. No, okay, I have to read the example. XY equals return position blah. So they go int in, which is the 2 captures they've got, and they return handler of position, and that's just return and then something. Yeah. Single user u. No. Which way around do I want to lookup go? Is it lookup? Lookup goes, oh, the element to look up and then list. Okay, so that. Yeah, lookup's not going to work very well, is it? So I haven't told it how to look it up. Basically, I've just assumed that the first thing will match. Okay, so it's not lookup. I want is it find by? Maybe I meant find. Maybe I did. So it wants the function first. Then the list. Okay, so let's write this in a janky but simple way. So here I want to say the name x is equal to u. Okay, I'll worry about it just later. I just want something quick to try and look up a user. Okay, so we've given it a string to handler user. It expects handler user. Oh, list of chart is string to handler user. That's interesting. So here it said capture, x is an int and y is an int. We've only got a single capture, which is a name, which is a string, and it's a get request. And then down here, when they're writing the server, they're going int to that. So I should just be able to call I'm not even calling return there. Okay, interesting. I guess the whole function is just something that's putting it under the handler because my return is in here. So actually what I could do is drop that out for now, and then I can say return here. I cannot. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's go back to the thing that was compiling. Okay, why is that now broken? I'm annoyed I had something that worked. Okay, took the type out, that's why. Okay, so in theory, if this works, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but if it does work, I can run this and I can hit /users, and it should give me back all the users, and then I can hit users Albert and it should give me back a single user. Oh, focus. So /users, that still works, and then users Albert. Oh no, the name is not Albert, it's Albert Einstein. Okay, yeah, it's not a great request. Can I do it like %20? Don't know how the encoding is going to work. Oh my goodness, it works. Okay. So if I encode it properly, then I can look it up by name. Okay, I probably need some either a clever search or some kind of mnemonic for or slug maybe for each user to look them up. But basics work. So I now have two routes. One which gets everything and one which captures a name. They don't interfere with each other, which is nice. And I have rubbish code here, but it's just testing. Okay, cool. So actually, I got a little bit further than I thought I was going to. So this is a basic servant app to return some users. This is copied from the tutorial. I will grab the URL for this as well. And just drop it here. Okay. Push it upstream. And I think I'm done. Cool. Okay, so I got servant kind of working, which is good. I got a couple of routes working. So maybe next week I can, well, I'll probably work some more of the tutorial to try and understand a bit more. But then I can maybe start updating the domain a little bit to match what I want to build. Cool. But overall, not too bad. Okay, so maybe see you next week. Goodbye.